Greetings, greetings. Hope you are well, and welcome to another live stream where we continue with Manchester United. This is our farewell save for FM2024, which we've clearly had for 2 years now. I think personally it's been a fantastic game. I've put many hours into the game, and I've got to say I'm really pleased with it. It's going to be interesting to see the new game when the new game comes out. The countdown is on. I think we're down to about 25 days now, so that's quite exciting. What I wanted to just go through very quickly before we kick off, I'll go through the results that we've had already in a moment. I just wanted to show the tactic, just because there have been a couple of changes from the tactics from the previous episodes, and so I just wanted to quickly go through them. As you can see, I've dropped down to balanced mentality, just because we were started a lot of games and not really finding our feet. I want to be able to. Do you remember in the old days I used to have sliders, and I'm just seeing this a little bit like the slider. I want to start in the middle, and if things are looking good and we're doing okay, we can start pushing further on the front foot, advancing forward. Or if we need to just rein it in a little bit, go a little bit more cautious. But I wanted to just start in the balanced and try and build it forward during the game. So it's going to be more in-game management, or attempted in-game management at least. Just see how the games are going. And so that's why I've moved it back to balance, because we were on attack initially. We did move it back a little bit to positive, which did make a little bit of a difference. But the reason, like I say, I want to go to balanced, I just want to start in the middle, work it back to where it is. The formation and the positions are all exactly the same, so we'll continue with that as it is. Then we've got the actual play. So before we had hit early crosses on, we've taken that off. We've kept a shorter pass in, but we've just moved the tempo back ever so slightly. We weren't winning the ball fast enough, which was one of my frustrations with it. I want to try and hold on to the ball as long as possible. Even though we've got a reasonably fast-paced game, I want us to have the ball. And so I'm hoping that just by winning the ball back quicker by going on to counter press, that will help us to facilitate that. Again, I may sometimes use passing out from the back, play out from defence, but that will be an in-game based on the formation or the defensiveness of a particular team. If they're sitting back really deep, then I might well. But here's probably where the most important change is, and it's only a slight change, is we were pushing higher with our line of defence. But I'm beginning to recognise that with Harry Maguire in the squad, that's not quite working the way that I would like it. So, we were 6-0 up against Burnley and somehow managed to get nailed back to 6-4. So I'm not happy with the way that was working exactly. So what I've decided to do is just pull back to a slightly deeper line. Not all the way back, again, a bit more middle of the road. And if I feel like we want to, I'll push it higher again. Again, we're sort of another slider, if you like, so we can move that forward if we feel like we're not getting close enough to their players and things like that. Or if they're not trying to get round the back so often, maybe we can push it forward. It's just see how the games go, really. So that's my thinking behind that. Now, why was I thinking that? That was because when we look at our games, we drew at Brentford, which compared to real life is pretty good. We beat Wolves, did okay, but conceded a goal. We got battered by Brighton, but seems to have been a bit of an anomaly. Oh, that was a hard word to say. Then we've got Lincoln. We absolutely hammered them, but still managed to concede a goal. Couple of really good victories against Forest and Sunderland. A draw against Tottenham Hotspur. We beat Bristol City 2-1, but it wasn't a convincing performance at all. And we lost to Chelsea. We lost to Liverpool. 2 difficult games. Liverpool in particular was a bit harsh because, as you can see, it was sort of like the last 10 minutes. We started the game really well. We're completely in control. And Liverpool came back into it and absolutely hammered us for the next sort of like 50 minutes or so. And then finally got that goal, and we just couldn't get ourselves back into the game. Then we played Burnley, we're 6-0 up before half-time. Somehow we managed to scrape a 6-4. And then we played Leeds and got a nice 2-0. But, like I say, I've just not been happy with the way that we've been playing. So now we're going to come to November, where we've got Aston Villa twice, bookending the month. This is what this live stream's going to cover today. We're going to play Bournemouth and West Ham in the middle. Bournemouth at home, West Ham away. I have one goal today, and you've seen it in my title. I do not want to lose in November. If I drew 4 times, that would be better than losing once. But obviously, I want to win. So we're going to try and win these games. But the object is to try and get a run of hard to beat, because December's got a lot of games and a couple of really difficult ones. You've got Newcastle, Arsenal and Man City coming up. They're not going to be easy. So we're going to have to just try our best to turn around this sort of, whenever we come against a team that's remotely better than average, we're struggling. So if you look at the better than average teams that we've played so far, we've lost to Brighton, we drew with Brentford. Some of you may not even consider them better than average, I don't know. But Tottenham Hotspur, we failed to beat, we drew 0-0. Chelsea, we lost, and Liverpool, we lost. So that's the side we've got for today. Sesko, Cunha, Fernandes, and Mbeumo. Casemiro, Ugarte, Dorgu as the inverted fullback, and Martinez, De Ligt, and Dalot. Henderson gets the nod for today. Henderson's been doing really well. It's hard because I really saw Lamens as my goalkeeper. I honestly did. But Henderson has done so well when he's been in, so he's going to get another shot just to see whether he can continue his run of clean sheets. He's sitting there with 7.22 as his ratings. That's pretty good. So let's get the team submitted and get to the game. I've just noticed that we come up against Victor Lindelof as a sort of like comeback, so obviously that will be an interesting one. So I've done the usual go and give the fans their money's worth if it's a cup game. So Tielemans, Dalot will retrieve, gives it to Ugarte, De Ligt, Henderson, Martinez. Play it out from the back, not something I've instructed, but we'll just watch how it goes, because it may be something that we bring into the game today. They do seem to be sitting rather deep, but Tielemans has picked up the ball here. We've got to be pressing him. Well done, Mbeumo. Absolutely brilliant. Sesko finds Mbeumo again. He's got another man over, or we can keep going. He's kept going, and he's shot. That was not really what we were hoping for. He should have rolled it out and then got himself in at the near post. Fernandes with a corner. Sesko with the header. And that is a fantastic header. And we've been crying out for him on the corners. And I have to confess that I've moved him up the order in terms of the head being the most important header, aerial threat. That's the word I was looking for. And it's worked straight away. Really happy with that. He was winning all the defensive headers. And now it's great to see him actually winning the header at the attacking end, and straight away it's a goal. He's got great finishing and a good goal. Cunha, Ugarte, Diogo Dalot. Can he square it? Oh, he's gone for the shot himself. It's forced a good save, but here's another corner. Where are we going? Sesko stood in the same place, I think. And it's going towards him again. This time the defender wins the ball. Martinez, not really the guy you want there. He was at least a left footer. That was something. But so free kick. Bruno Fernandes on the ball. Swings it in. Casemiro wins the header. That was unlucky, actually. And after a very quiet start, all of a sudden it's turned into quite an exciting match where we've created a lot of chances and scored a goal from the corner, which has cheered me up no end, I've got to say. So Lindelof against his old club. Buendia. I don't quite know why Dorgu didn't tackle him then. They've gone and let Harvey Elliott score. Can't believe it. The Manchester United faithful are furious have let an ex-Liverpool player score. But that was Dorgu's fault. I don't understand why he didn't make the tackle. Look at him here. He lost the ball. And Dorgu just stood there and watched him. I can't believe that. I really can't believe it. 35 minutes in. Aston Villa 1, Manchester United 1. Buendia swings in a corner. Lindelof with a header. That would have been just the icing on the cake for Aston Villa, wouldn't it? So Elliott with the corner this time. Buendia. Nobody seems to like closing Buendia down. What are they doing? Tackle him! Oh, my word. So, we're going to have to do something here because this is getting on my nerves. Instructions. No. We're going to have to go into the main tactics to do this. So, just a bit worried here that we're playing on for some reason. I don't know why. We've just missed the corner, but they didn't score straight away. So what we want is opposition. Thinking what I'm doing. Wow, they're 4-2-4. That's interesting. So 4-2-4 is their tactic. How can we exploit that? We've got to get the ball down the flanks. So we'll bear that in mind. One thing that we've got to start doing with all these people up here is we've got to start putting the blimmin' tackles in because they're doing my head in. They're just not tackling them. So we've got them all going in hard on them. And I think we'll do the same with tight marking as well. So tight marking always. See if that does us a little bit better. Now let's go to the tactics. The tic-tacs. And we want to focus the play down the wings. And we'll play out of defence. And in fact, we're going to overlap right, but not left. And the reason for that is because we've got a wing back on the right and an inverted on the left. So we don't want to do the inverted overlapping because that wouldn't make much sense, would it? But Wendy has picked up the ball from the clearance of that corner. Henderson has collected. I didn't think he was going to be honest, but it's okay. He's done it. So that's brought us to half-time. And as you can see from the match stats, we are in control of the game to a degree. We're not controlling possession, which is a little bit frustrating. But we can maybe do one thing to affect that. We're going to go positive because I still think we can get at these, even though they look like they're playing better than us. We'll bring it back just a little bit slower and work the ball into the box. But we're not creating many chances at the moment. We may completely change all that if we're not creating chances because maybe we need to go a little bit more direct and try and catch them on the break. But for now, we're going to try and control possession a little bit more. I think we might go dribble less as well. Just try that. And the idea is that we exploit this big gap here where there's only two players who hopefully we can outnumber and pass it around them. That is what I'm looking to do. So if we go to the dressing room, I'm not happy with the performance out there. I thought we started really well. Well, once we got that goal, we had a spell where we were really in control, but we're not doing great. I'm just looking at the. There's no one who needs subbing because of bad performance yet, but there's a few that aren't a million miles away, and we'll leave it at that and bring it back to the game. So there's a few potential substitutions that we need to make. At the moment, the game is just passing by with 0 highlights, which suggests it's a pretty boring game. And maybe that we need to speed things up because nothing's happening at the moment. I'm just trying to get a picture now of what's happening with the defence. We're not pressing the defence as much as I'd like, but Cunha's won the ball there, but he's brought it back to Casemiro. This is the problem with slowing the game down. Sesko was probably offside there. Cunha picks up the ball again. That's twice he's won the ball back. Great cross in. Sesko couldn't get to it. The keeper just beat him. And Dalot hits the crossbar. Cunha, can he pull it back? He's pulled it across. I thought Dina was going to put it into his own net then, but my goodness, this has been a good game. Right. So let's start thinking about how we can affect this game now. We actually looked like we were coming into the game there, so I might keep it the same. Cunha is on a 6.5. I can't have that. He's been the one who's been looking likely to win the ball back. I'm going to take Casemiro off because he's looking tired. Harry Maguire on for Delict. Ugarte's also looking tired, so we'll put Mazraoui on. Or do we? No, let's go for Kobe Mainu. And Buemo is looking tired. Do we try Diallo with his pace? So I think if we're going to do that, we need to tell Diallo to run with the ball often if he isn't already down for doing it. Dribble more, so that's okay. In fact, I've just decided I'm going to make the same for everybody with that, and slightly more direct. We're gonna have to start getting the ball forward. There's not long left of this match now. I think it's extra time or penalties or something. When you come to the end of here, we're about to find out. It's penalties straight away, straight in with the penalties, which is not ideal really. But so we've got Bruno Fernandes and Sesko are already down. Harry Maguire's going to take one. Cunha's going to take one. Then that's when we start struggling. Is that fifth one? Who's going to take the fifth one? We'll go with Mainu, but I'm not as enthusiastic on him taking it as anybody else. So I'm going to go Harry Maguire as the fifth penalty, Bruno Fernandes as the fourth penalty. Hopefully that will be as many as we need to win it. If we go to Harry Maguire, then I'm starting to get nervous. But yeah, we've got all of the best ones, starting with our worst penalty taker. So we go to the team talk and just tell them to relax. And off we go for our first penalty shootout of the save. So he's got the wind behind him, obviously. Henderson dives the wrong way, and Aston Villa take the lead. So Kobe Mainu, technically the worst penalty taker of our five. And he scores. Whew, I didn't think he was going to, but he has. 1-1. Victor Lindelof against his old team. And he slots it away too. Come on, Henderson, you're going to have to do better than this. Benjamin Sesko. His composure in front of goal has not impressed me recently, but he has no problems there. Slots it away. That was a confident penalty. Harvey Elliott is the guy who scored the equaliser. He lines up and slots it home. Henderson again, the wrong way, nowhere near. It was a good penalty, though. Mateus Cunha has hit the post, and I actually had a feeling it was going to happen. He hasn't had a high score on his ratings all game. And they've stuck it away, Matson, and I think now we're game over. I think this is one, really. Bruno Fernandes has got to score to keep us in it. And then we're dependent on Harry Maguire and all those who come after him. And the time it's taking Bruno to come up tells me he's going to miss it. Bruno Fernandes. Oh, he's slotted it away. Great penalty. But we're dependent on Henderson to save. He hasn't picked the right direction once yet. So a bit of frustration. No lose November. Does it class as a failure if we lose a penalty shootout? I don't know. Oh, he saved it. He saved it. Yes. It was a terrible penalty. It's got to be said. And I've been disappointed if he didn't save it. But Harry Maguire is still taking a penalty to save our game. And he slots it home beautifully. And we're into the sudden death. Although technically it was sudden death already anyway, once Harry Maguire set up. So, Andreas Garcia. And Henderson has got his second wind. He's made the save. And this now is a shot for the match. I haven't set who takes the rest of the penalties, so this is now on who's going to step forward and be brave. It is Dorgu. Dorgu steps up and he's slotted it. I mean, it wasn't the greatest of penalties, but it was enough to help us to progress to the next round of the cup. This is, I'd like to win a trophy at some point this season. So if it's the Carabao Cup, I would take that quite happily. But we've won on penalties. It wasn't the easiest team to play against. Let's face it. I would say that to get a 1-1 draw and to win is absolutely perfect. We showed good composure and eventually we got the win that we were looking for. So the one change that I have decided to make for today, just because, he did okay, Henderson, but I want to keep rotating these keepers until I'm absolutely certain on which one's the best one. They've both got pretty good ratings, to be fair. Henderson's on 7.21. Lemons is on 7.02. If one of them drops below the 7, it becomes a little harder to pick them. But at the moment, they seem to be both performing reasonably well. But it gives Lemons an opportunity to shine. If he can increase his average rating as well, that's going to help his case. So that's the two teams that we've got today. Obviously, pretty familiar with both sides. And I mean, Semenya, Cliver, and Nielsen can definitely be a little bit of a challenge. They're quite fast, if I remember correctly. So we're going to have to be a little bit cautious on the balls that go in behind. So I'm going to demand a win, even though it's not the easiest of games. I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on them. We're at home. I would like us to win. As Cunha picks up the ball very early on, just a couple of minutes in. Casemiro, too slow on the ball. Dorgu. Ugarte with a long-range shot. He's scored a cracker already this season, and that was a potential for another one. So time's ticking away, and we're not getting any breakthroughs. We are getting a lot of opportunities, though. So we're going to go attacking, try and get a goal before half-time. If it fails, at least we've got the second half to try and come back. But Clive brings the ball forward for Bournemouth. Good. Well, I thought it was a good tackle from Mbuemo, but they've given a penalty. Wasn't even a foul, if you ask me. No penalty. So at least we got that, but that was a terrible blooming decision. He just sort of like shielded him from the ball. So it's headed out. That's going to be a corner. So since we've gone attacking, it's not looked any good for us because we've had a lot of pressure coming from Bournemouth. So if we survive this pressure, we may be looking at going back to balanced again, where we were getting a lot of chances. Even though it wasn't showing us them as highlights, we were getting chances. Diogo Dalot takes a free kick. Delict. Casemiro. It was a poor ball again from Casemiro. He's winding me up today. Dorgu has got the ball back. Finds Casemiro. Right. Decision made. Casemiro, you cannot keep doing this to me today. We're 35 minutes in, and I've seen you give the ball away 3 times, and we've hardly had any highlights. So Casemiro's on his bike. He's getting hooked. And we'll probably be picking up the pieces of a 1-0 deficit because of him. And because I've made a tactical change in the middle of a highlight, which is never a good idea. Usually guarantees a goal. It didn't this time, but all of a sudden this game is getting highlight after highlight. Something is brewing. Fred has been brought on and has made a pass that worked. Casemiro, learn from Fred. It's a corner. Mbuemo taking the corner. The trick to make them think we're going short. Sesko at the near post. A little bit too soft on the head. But it was another corner which Sesko won the battle to get to first. So that's half time. We've had 17 shots. It's not showing us enough of the highlights for me. We may be going back on to the extensive highlights because this is really not showing us enough of the game. It's a little bit boring when it's like that. We'll see how it goes. So let's go to the dressing room. Keep playing the way you're playing. The result will come. We'll be encouraging. We were demanding at the start. We'll be encouraging. I suspect that Casemiro's not. Do you know he's got a 7 on his rating, but he was living rubbish every time we saw a highlight. He's been understanding anyway, but I hooked him. And it's not very often I get annoyed with players, but I saw 3 passes in 3 highlights, and Casemiro gave the ball away every single time. So, Christie, Dorgu, Ugarte, Cunha, Sesko. He's running, but he's not really got much support at the moment. He's managed to hold it up for Fred. Bruno Fernandes. Cunha running in. Looked like he got fouled. Oh, my word, that was close. I think it was Ugarte with the shot, but I'm not 100%. Dropping it back to positive. We have a free kick. Bruno Fernandes pops it in, and Sesko has won the header, and that is his 5th of the season. He's beginning to come along nicely now, which will be disappointing for Xerxes, who's not getting any real opportunity. There was another good run onto the header. Good strong header. Shame he couldn't have done that with that corner earlier, to be fair. But so far it's been a fairly easy game, but it's taken us a long time to break through. Now that we've got the goal, they're going to have to push forward. So, Truffert, sorry. I apologise. Small writing on those names. Senisi. Cook. They're going all the way back. They're not closing him down. I'm not impressed with that defending, that's for sure. Should have been closing that guy down well before he took that shot. Sesko, Ugarte. That's the end of the highlight. Time is running down a bit. We're going to drop to balance. We were getting a lot of opportunities while we were on balance, but it's going to encourage them to come on. Making a few changes as well. Dallo is coming off for Mazraoui. Ugarte's looking really tired. So Kobe Mainu can come on for Ugarte. Brian and Bremo again looking tired. This time I'm going to give Mason Mount a chance. But what we're going to do is have him as an advanced playmaker on support. And it looks like time is ticking away into the 90th minute. Not going to change anything. Well, nothing's happening because we are winning. And there we have it. No Lose November continues on. Sesko with the winning goal. He's scored both of our goals in the game so far, and both from set pieces. So that's really good. We did sort of tinker with the set pieces a little bit, just put him as the target for all of the balls, and it's clearly started to work. So I'm happy with that. And he's beginning to now clock up. I think we didn't play well. No, I think very well done. I think we can say that, but there's a few that weren't overly impressed with that, but never mind. And we are flying through these games. We're going to head to the next one. So we've got an away game against West Ham. West Ham are currently sitting 9th in the Premier League. Let's look at the Premier League and see where we stand at the moment. We're sitting in 7th place, which looks bad, but a win would take us above at least Brentford and Brighton, who have already played their 12th game. Aston Villa are a danger to us. They've got a game in hand over us, which will soon be 2 games in hand over us. They could draw. Well, they could technically overtake us, which is a little bit annoying, but they've got to win both of their games if they're to do that. So I'm not too stressed about that at the moment. But West Ham are actually doing quite well, 15 points on the board already. So it's not going to be as easy a match as I would have hoped. In real life, it'd have been a given, because they have been truly awful this season. As we look at their side, we're going to keep Lemons in goal. He had a clean sheet again last game, so that is definitely worthy of him. I want to give Mazraoui another go. He seems to be a bit better than Diogo Dallo at getting forward, so we'll give him that go. And Mason Mount, do we give him a bit of game time or do we wait? I think we'll wait. The one thing we have got is Ugarte and Casemiro are both getting tired quite quickly, so I might give Fred a start. Can't believe I'm saying that, but I might give Fred a start just to give an opportunity for Casemiro and Ugarte between them just to have half a game each if the game's going to plan. So as we look at the teams, Wan-Bissaka is an ex-United player, obviously. James Ward-Prowse is a bit of a set-piece specialist, so we've got to keep an eye on him. And as we look at these guys, I don't think there's much in the way of pace. So if we are having a good run of it, I may push the defence right up. We'll see how it goes. So I'll go with the recommended today. Didn't get a massive response either. I think the players are getting very unresponsive for some reason. I don't know if they don't like me or what. So Dorgu, we're in the green zebra kit. He crosses the ball and Sesko's managed to pick up the loose ball. Mazraoui runs deep, gets it across Bruno Fernandes, and really it didn't look like he could miss, but he did. And Buemo with the corner. And I think that was Sesko heading for it, but he didn't win it. Fred has picked up the ball in the deep. Delict, and that's the end of the highlight. So Cunha nicks the ball. What he was doing all the last match, and he got a poor rating. Or was it? No, it wasn't the last match, sorry. I apologise. It was the cup game. Fred, charging through. Fred, it's the post. That is not something you'd really have said was a feature of Fred's game, but it was a good effort. And he hit the post. So you can't complain too loudly with that. West Ham are not seemingly getting very close in, so I'm going to give this a try. It could cost me big time, but we're going to push it up and try and get more chances on the board at the other end. So we'll give it 15 minutes. If it doesn't look like it's helping them out in any way, shape, or form, then we'll continue. Well, that doesn't help at all, does it? Fred has got himself injured. I brought him on to try and stop that happening to Ugarte and Casemiro. I'm going to give Kobe Mainu an opportunity. Wan-Bissaka has the throw. That's set us back a little bit. It's got to be said. And that's set us back a lot as Fulkrug has stuck in a goal. Now we're going to have to pick up our game and get after them. So we're going attacking. But it was just from a simple throw-in. I don't think this was anything to do with a tactical decision. Obviously, Casemiro had just got... Fred had just got injured. We brought Kobe Mainu on. And from the throw-in that the highlight brought, we managed to lose... or concede a goal, should I say. Hopefully that's not the end of the game. So I'm going to be angry with them for that and tell them to get out there and do a bit better. So I'm getting a little bit twitchy with the tactical side of things because we're not getting chances. And it looks at the moment like this could be another West Ham chance. And not only is it a West Ham chance, that is disgraceful, guys. What are you doing? So we're going back to standard with that. We've already ballsed up the game. Now it's a case of whether we can get ourselves back into it. We've got to be much faster, get the ball forward, run it to defence. They are not... They've not been causing us any trouble in this game. And we've had 2 highlights and 2 goals. So Bruno Fernandes with the free kick. So at least highlights are beginning to come now, but not necessarily our way. Walker Peters. Vlasic. Oh, and Paul Sesko cannot miss. That is his 3rd of the episode, so he is in superb form at the moment. But at the moment, we've got to say it's not good enough at the moment. We've got to start getting forward and getting into this team. To be fair, we've finally broken them down, but it was more their doing than ours. There's not another United player within 100 yards of Sesko there. It was just terrible defending from them. Time is beginning to run away from us here. 68 minutes in. The substitutes are about to rain down because we've got to try and do something to get this game back to parity at least. Martinez. They're very deep, so we could potentially play out a defence, try and work ourselves forward a little bit more. Although they seem to be doing that anyway. Ugarte. Delict. Mazraoui, loads of space to charge into, and he slowly does it. Cunha at the far post. Well, Cunha has just not really demonstrated so far his goal-scoring abilities. And it's time to change things a little bit. So we're going to bring these 2 forward to be more attacking. In fact, I'm going to switch them over, and we're going to have 2 strikers on. because we need a goal quick. So I'm thinking of putting Mbuemo there and bringing Mason Mount on. If we put Mason Mount as an advanced playmaker, we're gonna. In fact, I'll put Mason Mount on support and Cunha on attack. Do we have him as an inside forward? Yeah. If we're gonna do that, then he's gonna have to go as a wing back and attack there. We've got to get the guys forward so they're going to overlap, and we'll try to play out of defence. But we've got to start getting some shots in. We need a goal quick. Will those changes give us any highlights, or will the game just disappear from us? Xerxes is coming on for Sesko. We've got players who are very tired, so we've got to make some changes. Let's see if we can concoct something in these final few moments. And the answer to that would be a resounding no. So no lose November is a failure. We've lost to West Ham, and that has set us back dearly. I am far from pleased with that. In fact, I'm really naffed off with it, to be honest. That has opened the door for so many teams to overtake us now. Aston Villa could easily overtake us. Newcastle will be pushing close as well. Everton, they've got another game, so they could be close to us too. That one result has really cost us dearly. I don't think we're ever going to be pushing for the title this season, but I would have liked to think we could have been pushing for the top four, and at the moment, we're not far off. We're only 1 point behind the top four. Arsenal have got a game in hand over us, so they could make it. So we're then 4 points behind. But if Arsenal were to fail their next game, that would be a big help to us, because at least it'd put us within reach of the top four still. So I just want to put next match only before I make the change, because obviously that's important. So play out of defence. Fred's got to come off because he's injured, so Casemiro comes on. Hopefully he doesn't get another injury, because that will cause us problems. So we've got to put Meyer on the substitutes bench. Just looking at who we've got here, I've got to put that extra striker on as well, just in case we need to chuck the kitchen sink at the team towards the end, because that's where we were last time, and I didn't have my speedster Obi on the pitch, so we had to settle for what we had. So there's the two teams again. There are a couple of changes in there. I've noticed that Lindelof is on the bench. That's an interesting decision for them. So our home form is important. So Sesko's he scored 3 goals in 3 games. Can he continue that run? He's beginning to look a lot more dangerous, at least. But unfortunately for us, he's the only one scoring throughout the whole of November. So 18 minutes in. Wind has the ball at his feet. And his trickery is stopping the guys getting close to him. And they need to start making these tackles. This is beginning to frustrate me. They're just letting players run with the ball, not putting the tackles in. In fact, what we'll do, we'll pause it there. I've done it again. You can't do it from there. You have to go to the main tactics. We did this and it worked against this same team. So we'll highlight all the players who are not in the defensive line. And we want to type mark them. And then same again. Tackle hard. Get stuck in. We're not doing that nearly enough. And I'm going to have to try and remember to adjust the tactics to that very same ilk, because otherwise we're not having it. Bruno Fernandes with a corner. Sesko's going to win the header. He's headed it across to De Ligt. And Benjamin Sesko is again the creator of the goal this time by winning the header. De Ligt was able to just comfortably knock that in. So once again, we've undone Aston Villa with a corner. This time, Sesko did a fantastic job, and De Ligt at the back post was able to just head it in. But I will take that every day of the week. Cunha just about keeps it in, gets fouled, and that's going to be an injury. This could be a red card as well. It said it was 2-footed, although it didn't look it. Is Cunha okay? That is the question. Casemiro's looking tired already. That's not good. So we'll try and keep him going till half time. But they're down to 10 men, and they've and they're a goal down. So this is, really in our ballpark now to be able to dominate this. I'm not going to go attacking because that would just be silly. But what we have got is Sesko is very tired. Casemiro is very tired, but we can take him off straight away. Mazraoui is very tired. I presume this has come very quickly after some international matches because it's a little bit unusual for so many players to be tired. I'm going to try Diallo on for Mbuemo as well because he's tired. 3 substitutions at half time because players are tired. I've left Sesko out there. Nearly forgot to do the team talk, so I've let my assistant do it. So this is the second time we played Aston Villa this month, and it's been another boring game, to be fair. We've again dominated it in terms of chances, but there's not been many opportunities. But Amad Diallo finds Ugarte, who swings in another long-range shot. I tell you what, he keeps getting really close. He scored a fantastic goal earlier. And as soon as we get a chance, I think Xerxes is going to get his game. Sesko, he's got his goal. That's a goal in every game in November. He's been a key part of this, and he's absolutely earned himself a rest. So I've put him down to come off. It's the last thing that he's going to do. But it's another corner. This is identical to the goal that he scored against them in the Cup. And we'll take that every day of the week. Well done, Benjamin Sesko. Now he's gone off. Had a rest. Xerxes gets his opportunity to shine. And I'm a little bit concerned. They should have scored then. I don't know what's gone on with the defence, but all of a sudden Aston Villa have woken up. De Ligt wins the header. So time is ticking away. 75 minutes now and nothing happening. So I've got to just try something a little bit different just for the sake of getting that extra man on. I'm going to drop these guys back to wingers. I don't know how comfortable he's not. Cunha's not very comfortable there, but he'll have to survive for 10 minutes or so. It's no problem. But Bruno's coming off and Chido Obi is coming on. We'll swap them over and he's going to be an advanced forward. He wants to be right on the shoulder of the last man because if they're going to try and push forward to get a goal, he's going to be in a great place to score. But time is ticking right away. There may be chance for another opportunity. Amad Diallo swings in the cross. Cunha's at the back post. He's headed it just over. I haven't seen a lot of cutting edge from Cunha. I think the role is not working for him. I think we're going to have to sort of look into really what it is that we can do to make him more effective in front of goal. So another great... That was an important victory. After losing to West Ham, I think we needed that. Got to say that it was an important, very important result to get. It's taken us up to 5th. Arsenal will comfortably overtake us, so we will be 6th eventually. Brentford, it's not a guarantee that they will. So just looking at the results of all the others. Leeds drew with West Ham, which sort of drops them away from us again, which is something. Obviously, we've got ahead of Aston Villa, but they still have a game over us, so they could technically still overtake us as well. Nottingham Forest beat Manchester City, which makes things a little bit interesting ahead of us. We've still got a lot of work to do. We're going to catch those top teams, but there is time. That's the important thing. You know, we've come to the end of November now, and we're only 5 points off second, 4 points off the guys above us in the top 4. It could have been worse. If we'd have not won that game today, I'd have been panicking. We'd have been stuck around about here. Aston Villa would have been ahead of us, and I'd have been a little bit worried if I'm perfectly honest, but now I'm a little bit more sure that we could start pulling a bit more distance away from the likes of Newcastle, West Ham, Aston Villa and Brentford. If we can isolate ourselves into the top 6, then it becomes a race between us, Arsenal and Brighton, and Chelsea, obviously, to see if we can push for the top 3. We have to break this down sometimes into smaller areas of the game. This is big news, mainly because it impacts us immediately. Jurgen Klopp, the former Liverpool manager, has been appointed as the new manager of Newcastle United. So that's going to be an exciting game for him. His first game back in England is against. Well, this is not something that you expect to see every day. I'm in 5th place in the league, and apparently I'm on the verge of the sack. That is ridiculous. I'm not having that. Who's that blimmin' reporter? To be honest, I honestly don't know where that's come from. I did say that if you weren't competing for the top 4, well, that's good. We've got some extra funds for transfers for when we come into January, so that will be handy. We might be able to buy a player. Not sure where I'd actually have him yet. I think Cunha's place is a little bit under review at the moment because I don't think he's been as good as he should be. I just want to go on to the job centre and see what it says about my job security. If I could remember where that was. Staff, job security. So job status. We've got all these available. This could become a very top scale journeyman save if I get sacked early. So that's saying I'm stable. So I've no idea where that headline's come from. Trying to stress me out, man. Don't need that. So I'm looking at Cunha and how he's doing, and I'm thinking we might do away with the inverted fullback and go back to an inside forward or even an inverted winger. But he's got 17 dribbling, 17 finishing. He should be doing a little bit better than that. The other option that we could have is quite a radical one, and I like the idea of this actually. So what if we switched him to there as a shadow striker? I'm going to say put him there, so it's a little bit offset, and I think I like the idea of that. So if we can be getting the ball, and this is going to be a big thing now. I don't normally do this, but we'll see how it goes for this match. This Newcastle match is not the time to be experimenting like this. I do recognise that. I probably should have done this 2 games ago if I was going to do something like this. So Sesko's in the middle. We've got Mbuemo is going to be coming into this far post here. We've got Mateus Cunha is the shadow striker who's going to be hitting the channels around about here. This is how I envisage it. So whether it'll work or not, I don't know. Segunda Volante for Fred or whoever takes this role. It won't be Fred, actually. I'm going to be taking him off. Segunda Volante should be sort of filling this space a little bit more, and Fernandez is going to be the one with the glue. So we'll just put Dorgu on fullback support. So we've got 1, 2, 3 supports, 4 attacks. So we're not going overkill with the attacking. That's important. So Fred, you can come off for Casemiro. I'm gonna give Ugarte a rest, but not with Fred. With Kobe Mainu. Then we want Obi on the bench, so he can get any more opportunities that he can. And Meyer, we want Meyer on the bench as well. Who we're gonna take off for him? Well, Xerxes is playing terrible, so I'm gonna get rid of Xerxes. He's a player who has had a few chances, but he's not taken any one of them. So I'm gonna put him on the transfer list. Whether anybody will want to come for him, I don't know, but he's been a bit of a flop for me. And I think that's probably one of the areas that we could look at for replacing somebody. Failing that, it could be that we end up sort of finding a really decent left winger. Because I think we're doing okay defensively. I'm not overly concerned with that, which is ironic, really. So as we look at the 2 teams, this is the first time Jurgen Klopp has been able to pick a Newcastle Town team. And he's picked a pretty good one. That is a good combination of pace with Anthony Gordon, quality of ball with Joe Willock, and that Nick Voltmade, I believe, is, like Benjamin Sesko, a really tall, difficult guy to deal with. So we've asked them to pick up where they left off last time and onto the game. It's going to be interesting to see how the little tweaks to the tactic are going to affect how we play. So the first real chance, and it is a good save from Lamens, but it was a free kick to Newcastle. Kieran Trippier can be an excellent deliverer of the ball. So Cunha's taking up an interesting position. If we just highlight him here, this is where the shadow striker is. Just watching how he does, but But again, I'm just so frustrated that they don't put the tackles in, and I think we're gonna have to change our main tactic to have them marking tighter and tackling harder. It The only trouble is obviously if you start putting in instructions like that, you will get more red cards as well, and it could come back to bite you in a really important match. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro finds Cunha out to Mazraoui. Mazraoui's got free to aim at, doesn't get the ball in. Bruno Fernandes picks up the ball, and the long shot was so close. I could really do with us at least having a lead for half time. Especially if, as they're saying, my job's under threat. I'd be really disappointed if it was, but because I don't think we're doing that bad. Kieran Trippier with a corner. They've won the header and very nearly scored. I don't quite know how we survived that then, but we did. We are technically being outplayed a little bit here. Bruno Fernandes. It was a terrible, terrible corner. Mazraoui crosses the ball in, and Buemo's there. Cunha's there. Oh. Cunha has had so many opportunities since he joined United, but I just haven't seen that finishing capability that he's supposed to have. They need to get the ball on the ground to him, I think. He's got excellent dribbling. Yeah, I actually agree with what he's saying there. Go and do that. And I'm going to speak to the attackers and say, I'm not happy with your finishing. Just try and G them up a little bit and get them a little bit more focused on the job ahead. So Trippier has been one of the thorns in our side so far today. He's been the most dangerous looking, but they've lost the ball here. Cunha. Go on, run with the ball, Cunha. Your dribbling is 17. 17 dribbling, and he just walks into him and loses the ball. Oh, man. I'm beginning to think these attributes mean absolutely nothing. So Murphy with loads of space and a terrible shot, but I'm not happy with how things are going at the moment. We're going to move to a little bit more positive. We want to try and take the game to Newcastle. So Trippier, Tonali, Shah, and Joelinton running with the ball. Nobody puts a tackle in again, and that is disgraceful defending. I'm absolutely furious with that. Not even going to wait for the highlight before I make the changes that I'm going to make. Man, these are beginning to wind me up, these players. Just put the damn tackles in. Every game, you're doing the same thing, just letting them run through you. Absolutely disgusted with this. We should be beating these. And we just, look at that, no attempt to block him, no attempt to tackle him in any way, shape, or form. I'd rather him have had a free cross because you've lain yourself out on the floor having tried to wipe him out. That is what you should be doing. We're 70 minutes in, and the whole thing's going tits up. So Bruno Fernandes, you're going off. Where's Obi? Chido Obi, you're coming on. Advance forward. Focus play through the middle. Work the ball into the box, but we've got to run at the defence, and we've got to be expressive. Very, very quick on the attacking. According to the newspapers, we're about to get sacked. And I would start thinking about sacking somebody if they keep performing like this. Every time we come up against a team with a little bit of quality, we're getting stuffed, and I can't understand it. They played absolutely brilliantly against Aston Villa. So Lemons with a long ball forward. Sesko doesn't even jump for the ball. And Martinez, somehow we've survived. Cunha, can he run with the ball now? He's just run the ball straight out of play. Oh, man. Kieran Trippier, expert at free kicks, has nearly scored. Somehow we're still in this. Chido Obi. But the game's gone. We've lost. Already failed in my target. And I'm about to cry. This is ridiculous. And Buemo's getting dumped as well because he's rubbish. Amad Diallo is coming on for Cunha. Malacia for Dorgu. And I think that's all we're going to do now. Time is nearly... I mean, Newcastle have been the better team as well. You can't even complain about this one. They have won the game fair and square. And every highlight has been for them, not for us. So there is some serious butt kicking going to happen after this game. Where's that water bottle? Throw it. Far from pleased. I think you lose more than your confidence. You're losing your flipping jobs. If I've still got a job by the Monday morning. We've got 2 days if I've still got the job. So, squad. I've got one player who's playing well, and he's saying he's tired and wants to have a rest. Just realised something. We kind of went on holiday and didn't go to the next match, so we've skipped a match. Oh well, looks like we're playing Fulham instead. We got a draw against Arsenal. So what I'll do is I'll just show you the match highlights for that, and we'll all sit back and watch what happened in that match. Why is it not doing it? Watch key highlights. So Delict to Diogo Dalot. Amad. Delict, Dalot, Bruno Fernandes. Who picks up Amad? Mason Mount charging through. And Cunha and Mbuemo, both of them are there. And it's Mbuemo who's found the back of the net. And after 8 minutes, we have the lead against Arsenal. So Odegaard has picked up the ball. Saka. Lewis Skelly. Charging forward. Forces a save out of Lemons. So we're into the second half, and Amad Martinelli. Martinelli with a good shot. So Lemons. Long kick forward. And we've actually lost, or conceded the goal right near the end, because Martinez forgot what team he's playing for. So that was good, wasn't it? So there we look at him. If we see the stats now, you've got very poor effort from these guys. 8 shots to our 5. 5-4 for the on target. So we did all right in creating good chances, but there weren't many of them. They dominated the possession a little bit. And I'm beginning to think I want to get rid of these wide players myself. I don't think it's working in the way that I wanted it to. So I'm going to change the tactic before the Fulham game. And this is going to be our tactic for the foreseeable future. It's going to require my mate Bruno Fernandes dropping back a bit, but it's got to be done, I think. So if we go to the tactics, we're going to have Sesko, Cunha, and Mbuemo. Sesko is going to be the complete forward on support. We're going to have 2 advanced forwards. I think if Mbuemo is good with the advanced forwards, I'll just double check with his sort of like tactic. So advanced forward, pace 15. We could have him as a pressing forward. What's his work rate? Yeah. So I'm thinking actually just to give us that little bit of continuity in the attacking. So Bruno Fernandes is coming back here. Either Casemiro or Ugarte stroke Mainu are going here. Advanced playmaker, or do we have deep lying playmaker? Let's go deep lying playmaker support. An anchor man defend. And Casemiro box-to-box midfielder support. So that's the midfield, then because obviously we've got two wing backs. I think with 3 strikers, we probably want wing backs on support. Wing back on support. So we're definitely going to need overlaps with having 2 wing backs. So that's definitely got to be on the case here. And passing to space is going to be important. Honestly, I don't know what else to do with that at the moment. Do we keep that as the same or put it as standard? So I'm gonna do that. Keep it as slightly higher. Just see how we go with that, and then we'll work from there. So from the counter press, I might take that off completely and just go for a counter. So if we win the ball back, we're gonna a high line of defence. We're not counter pressing, but we are counter attacking. Right. So the one thing we need to do is opposition instruction. Now we want positions because we want the whole thing. I'm gonna go with anyone who's a defender right, a defender left, or any further down. Then you're gonna tackle hard. Keeper tackle hard. That is not what I want. Then anybody who is above the defensive line, that we are going to sight mark. And then everybody who is in the defensive and midfield, we're going to trigger press. So that is what we're going to do. See whether that works. I just thought I'd have a quick look at the job security before we move on. It's still saying stable at the moment, so we'll keep going. This is going to be the final game of the live stream, so I appreciate anybody who's popped in and anybody who watches this on repeat. Thank you very much. So I'm going to go back to positive as well, just because I think if you're playing 4-3-3, you want to be putting, especially these weaker teams, under pressure. So a change of tactic in the middle of the season is not always a good idea. I've tried not to change too much stuff, but with recent results, I think we had to. Early doors, I think Casemiro and Mainu probably need swapping. I think that's something that I would suggest is a definite. I think I've got them in the wrong position, if I'm honest. This could trigger the mythical goal because there's a highlight. Tend to concede a goal when something like this happens. Cunha has won the ball. Cunha. Oh. Why are we all stood in a line? Casemiro. Do you know where you're supposed to be, Casemiro? Dorgu with the overlap. Can he swing the ball in? He does swing the ball in. Sesko's waiting. Does get the header, but just can't get any power on it. Early doors, and that was a good opportunity. But I have to say that the chances are, again, few and far between, and Fulham are really in control of the game. So Martinez, Mazraoui. Martinez finds Kobe Mainu. We are very narrow. Let's see what happens if in the instructions we put ourselves wide and hit early crosses. I don't know if that's a good idea, but we're not creating enough chances. So the hit early crosses might, just as soon as the ball does get out to these overlapping wing backs. Go on, hit the ball in, hit the ball in. They may not have taken effect yet, but Bruno Fernandes forces a good save from Leno. So we are getting the chances now. 8 shots to their 2. But still 0-0. We're trying to get the best out of Mbeumo and Cunha because Sesko's been doing really well and we're not seeing anything from those two. But we are running the risk, of course, of causing Sesko to start struggling as well. And that is not what we want. So I'm not happy with the performance out there. Attackers, I'm not happy with your finishing. So tactics. These guys are going to have to start attacking. This is where we're finding the space, but we're not utilising it well enough. Do we go pressing forward support just to reduce the number of attackers on there? So we've only got 3 defenders. So if I put Bruno Fernandes sitting back deeper as well, let's see whether that opens up any space. But the idea is we've got to be able to get these wing backs running onto the ball. So Mazraoui takes a shot, hits the post. There's hundreds of players in the box. and somehow it falls to Mainu outside of the box, and he skies it. So Mazraoui gets the ball in. Cunha's not going to... Oh, he is going to beat the keeper because the keeper did not even jump for it. He says that there's a foul. Is the goal going to stand? It stands 1-0. That is brilliant. So came from Mazraoui. We did say that it was the wide players who were going to open this up. But it is causing them trouble having 3 strikers to deal with rather than the one with the 2 coming in. But at the moment, none of the chances have presented themselves like that one. I don't know what Leno was doing, to be honest. It looked like he just lay down and let Cunha head it in. I'm not going to complain because we needed that goal. So we've hit the hour mark. I just wanted to have a look at how we're doing in terms of energy. Casemiro as the anchor man. Is there anything we want to do? I'm going to give Ugarte that anchor man role. Keep Kobe Mainu in where he is. Martinez come off for Harry Maguire. And do we give Malacia a go in Dorgu's role? He would be a better wing back, to be honest, than Dorgu. Dorgu's not... He's getting forward, but he's not getting the crosses in quick enough. So Leno takes a free kick, presumably from an offside. And Sessegnon. So they've allowed an easy cross. Lemons does come and claim, so that was a relief. What's going on here? You are joking. You cannot be serious. How was there a penalty there? That is ridiculous. Absolute scumbags. They have absolutely stitched us up. FM at its finest. There's even corrupt referees in Football Manager. Who knew that? Nobody took a look at that and thought there was a penalty. The TV's very conveniently not showing us the highlight, so we're going to have to watch it again. Bruno Fernandes, Mazraoui. All of a sudden, this game has got serious. Into the last 10 minutes, it is beginning to get desperate now. This could spell the end of our tenure at Manchester United. To fail to beat Fulham, having just lost to Newcastle and drawn with Arsenal, I think we're in trouble here. 26 shots and hardly a highlight show. So I can't believe that. I honestly cannot believe it. And I can't understand it either. How have we fallen from where we were at the end of November, never mind the start of November? We were sitting in 5th place and quite happy, and 3 games later, we've got 1 point. Sorry, two more points. That was such a dodgy penalty, though. I've got to go back and look at it. It was such a dodgy penalty. We should have won that match, and because we didn't win it, there's talk about me losing my job. I wanna see the actual penalty that was given. So let's see, what is it that they saw with this penalty? I think this might be it. It was such an innocuous attack as well. So here's where he swings the ball in. Watching. I'm assuming it's here. So what happened? So I think they're saying that... Who is it? So they're saying that Maguire pushed. And you can see there that he has. But it wasn't like he was going to compete for the ball or anything. So I honestly cannot see how they gave a penalty for that. If I was a manager in real life, I would be constantly banned. Because decisions like that are really great of me. So I want to have this on record now. speaking to everybody in the football manager world and say that decision was a disgrace and that referee should be sacked. And that is all I've got to say about that. And because obviously it's not actually on record that I said that, I won't get sacked for that. I'll probably just get sacked because I'm a terrible manager. So there we go. That is where we finish, with Liverpool comfortably top of the pile with 38 points. Man City 37 points below them. Then a bit of a gap down to Chelsea, Villa, Brighton and Arsenal. And with us, Manchester United, sat on 25 points. Really struggling. Only won one of the last 5 games. Form has taken a massive dip since we started November. I shouldn't have played those last 3 games. If I'd have finished it in November, everybody would have been happy because we'd have been sitting pretty, having won 3 out of 4. The one that we lost was a disappointment, but ultimately hadn't hurt us too much. And yeah, everything's just gone wrong. What we really need now is from Everton all the way down through to January, Sunderland. We need a lot of green, because otherwise we're talking about 4 games where we've only won 1, and that's not good enough really. So even 5 games, if you go as far as 5 games, we've only won 1. So I'm going to say that. Oh, I spotted a little. I thought they were all easy games, but I just spotted a little Man City Manchester derby in the middle of it, which isn't going to go down very well for us, I don't think. So what we'll do with that is we'll leave it there, and we'll come back and finish off the 5 games in December, and then hopefully, if we're still in a job by the end of December, we've got what would be then episode 7, which will be January, where we have at least another 5 games there. Potentially, if we get through the Carabao Cup quarter-final, then there could well be a semi-final around that time too. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting save. We are also coming to the point where we can start looking at transfers as well. When we hit December, January, we'll definitely be looking at signing one key player. I haven't decided what position we're going to look for yet. If you watch this on the repeat, or if you watch this on the little shorter versions that I've been putting out there, then put in the comments who you think we should go for. But we definitely need a game changer, because at the moment, Sesko's doing okay. He's scored a few goals. We've got the one accident where we missed the game, and I do apologise for that one, where Mbuemo and then Martinez equalised. Forgot what team he was playing for. I mean, imagine if we'd have won that 1-0. There'd have been no problem having lost the Newcastle game. To beat Arsenal would have put everything back right again. But we didn't. So we're going to have to go into the next one, still with our head on a plate, waiting for that knife to come down and chop our head off. The sack is looming. All of that after no lose November. Unbelievable. Well, I'd like to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.